So we are here at the AGSM with George Phillips, our hometown boy from Neepawa, who has been here as the assistant curator. Is that the official title for the summer? Curatorial assistant?
Oh, curatorial assistant.
Okay.
Yeah, semantics at some point.
So, so what does that entail?
So the curatorial assistant or assistant curator, it entails assisting the curatorial duties here at the AGSM. So for those who are unfamiliar, the curator is the person who is responsible for bringing the artwork into the gallery and then seeing how it is presented and making sure that vision is given to the public. More concrete terms, we're the people that talk to artists. We get the artwork in here, we decide how it's going to be hung, and then we just make sure everything that the gallery is doing around the exhibition, like events and media presence, are all within what we want to have happen.
Right. I think it's important to understand that a curator is a vocation that people go into.
Oh,
this is, you don't just work in a gallery. The curator's role in the gallery is very important as far as how art is displayed and chosen to show to the public.
Yeah, most curators actually end up going for master degrees in university in curatorial studies, and they go to sometimes some of the top universities in the world to figure out how to display and how to present stuff to the public.
Mm-hmm. And so for your part, being the curatorial assistant, you curated your first show this summer, right?
I did. That was so exciting. I'm very lucky that our current head curator here at the AGSM, Lucy Letterhandler, noticed that we had some availability inside of our schedule for 2 weeks. And we're going to put in some sort of community show in there. And they basically turned to me and said, "Do you want to do a show? All right, go for it. I'll look over and make sure everything's okay, but have fun." And because of that, we were able to bring in a lot of young local artists, actually. I believe the oldest one we had was Rudy E. at age of 21, and then we had some teenagers as well. So when I was given the opportunity to fill up a bit of a hole in the schedule, I wanted to focus on local artists, and especially young people who could use an opportunity to start getting their feet wet inside of the art world. And we were lucky that in the Westman region, we have no shortage of people to choose from.
Oh, absolutely. So what was your process then for creating the show and putting it together?
The process, because it was a bit of a quick turnover, we wanted to focus on youth artists from the area who have reached out to us in the past, because we wanted to saw it as an opportunity to reward people, young people who have gone out of their way to attempt to enter into this professional world. So all of the artists, they either approached us for the possibility of doing commission work inside of our gift shop, as well as some of them who have applied to have shows before. And so when you're a young person, 16 to 20 years old, to have that kind of dedication and drive to approach a professional gallery and not feel too intimidated, it was wonderful. So we wanted to give them a reward. So we reached out to people who have reached out to us in the past.
Great. And so for 2 weeks this summer, is it something then, was it a successful show? Is it something the art gallery is planning to do again at some point?
It was so nice. It really was successful in terms of the public coming out. We had, obviously the friends and families, as always happens with artists, but we had people from the local community, some of the smaller communities surrounding us. You guys were nice enough to actually kind of talk to us about some of that stuff, which is lovely. And then, it was a pretty good success, and we made it so those young people now have the opportunity and the ability to put on the resumes that they've had a show before, which is fantastic. In terms of doing it again in the future, it all depends on scheduling.
Right.
Vast majority of everything with an art gallery is usually booked years in advance, and
certainly is, yeah. Even in small communities, it is booked quite far in advance, usually at least a year or two.
Yeah, it is. Because there's not too many institutions, especially inside of Manitoba. Like, we have a wonderful arts community, but in terms of venues, there's not too terribly much outside of the big cities. So there's opportunities, but it is competitive at sometimes, I would say. Yeah. So in terms of doing it again, though, we have the community gallery specifically for the purpose of trying to promote community projects. So we'll do something like it again in the future. When it happens, gotta ask the head curator.
I know one of the things you've had in the community gallery before, and I don't know if it was done this year or not because I was a little busy during June, but there's often a Pride Month show with local artists and things like that as well.
And then every year we also have the member show inside of the main gallery itself, which is anybody who's a member with the gallery. So you just buy a membership for the year, you get discounts and all sorts of fun little things like that. But if you have a current membership, you're allowed to apply your own personal work into the membership every year. And then most of the time, almost everything gets on the walls. And it's just wall-to-wall local artists who are members of the gallery.
Well, that would certainly be an interesting show for us to come down and check out.
We'd actually love to have you.
Because certainly there's artists from our area who are members,
Yeah.
and even teachers here. So
yeah, because the AGSM, like we try to get as much from Manitoba as we can, and we also do bring national stuff here so that people have the opportunity to look at it. But one of the main things of our gallery is we're the art gallery of Southwestern Manitoba. So if you're in the Southwestern Manitoba region, including Minnedosa, Neepawa, like anywhere in the South Manitoba region, we're very happy to be able to bring artwork from those communities.
And the AGSM, I believe, is the only professional art gallery in Manitoba outside of Winnipeg.
I believe so. There's a couple of smaller ones that have popped up, but in terms of professionalism,
Paying professional rates to artists to show.
Yes. Yeah. We do pay CARFAC rates, so the Canadian Artists Federation or Federation Artists Critique.
I should know this too, and I don't know it off the top of my head. I'll put it on screen.
Yeah, fantastic.
Okay.
The French one. We pay CARFAC fees for our artists. We make sure they get paid professional rates. People are giving us professional work, so we want to make sure that they get professional pay. Sometimes in terms of community projects, there's conversations around that, but you're giving us professional work. You're a professional. You deserve to get paid for your work.
Yeah, people have put in a lot of time to reach the point where they can produce this work.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it's not just being able to say that you got exhibited inside the gallery, although as much of that is like a major thing for an artist to be able to put on your CV and just have that professional experience so you can apply for grants and funding and just have a professional career.
Yeah.
It's also, if you get to that level, most of these people, like, that's your job, and
people need to make a living.
Yeah.
And they've earned.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing a lot of people don't understand
about
about art, especially when you can get prints in Walmart and things like that.
Yeah.
That original art takes a lot of time.
A lot of effort, a lot of research.
Yeah.
And then, just connecting with whatever community, whatever project, whatever themes you're working with. There's reasons why people go to university for bachelor's and then master's and then sometimes doctorates, not only in curatorial studies, museum studies, and the stuff surrounding the art world, but also just for art itself. You can get a doctorate in fine arts, like just in terms of producing art. That's a thing. So
how did you get involved in this?
I got lucky. No, I came to Brandon right after high school, went to culinary school, moved around the South Manitoba region and all that stuff, and eventually decided to go back to school because I like to draw, and I never actually studied it, so I figured why not. And I just fell in love with it. Brandon University is absolutely amazing for the fine arts department. So when I got involved in the fine arts department, because Brandon is a city, but still on the smaller scale of cities, the arts world is very connected. So just got involved in university events, networked and met some people, came down to the gallery here for some of the life drawing and stuff. And so when I heard that they had an opening, I applied for it, and I was lucky enough that some of my professors saw my drive and gave me a recommendation, and I got a job at the front desk.
Yeah, and so that was here before this curatorial assistantship.
Yeah, I was working at the front desk, and I'll be returning to that in the fall as a gallery attendant. But the curatorial assistantship itself is actually through Young Canada Works, so it's a government program where they subsidize institutions such as the arts, but also pretty much every career field, actually.
Yeah, museum fields as well.
Museum fields as well.
Yeah.
And they subsidize the pay for the gallery, the museum, the science center, whatever it is, to hire somebody. So the gallery applied for a curatorial assistant position. It was open to anybody under the age of 30 as per the Young Canada Works program. I applied. I was really good at my interview. And I was lucky that I was selected. Yeah. Right before I turned 30. So
just in time.
Just in time.
Because that is, what you've been doing for the summer has been a little different from the gallery attendant that you were doing before, especially with working with with your own show.
Oh, yeah.
Were you involved in sort of working as an assistant, I guess, to the other shows coming into the gallery?
Yeah, I was lucky. That's through this not internship, but through this program, I was lucky that I was involved in all the shows that have come up during this time of me being in this position. So with Manitoba, I was able to help them just with like basic installing and stuff too, but also figuring out how to map it out in the gallery. For Mackenzie's exhibition, luckily enough, Mackenzie was actually one of our professors, so I was able to talk to him and be a little more comfortable in figuring out what he wants. But just in terms of logistics of, you have 6 neon skulls. How do we get power to those skulls so that they can run? How do we get the walls and everything figured out in such a way that it can actually function and work? But then also, more on the curatorial side, on top of that, away from just functionality, how do you, make it look good while you're also doing it? Because there are artistic, not limitations, but aspects that you want to take into consideration. So with Kevin Mackenzie's show, with the upcoming Fiber National show, and with the Manitoba, all the shows that have come into the gallery over my curatorial assistantship, I've been able to have a little bit of a hand in, and just get that wonderful first-hand of experience of how to hang art, how it looks, how to curate, how to just talk to an artist and like introduce, and how artists' studio tours work. Like, how do you approach an artist and find out what their career is and the process of getting a show in a gallery. So
now this gallery is certainly booking, as we said, years out. Mm-hmm. Were you involved then in this contact process with artists that we might be seeing 3-4 years down the line?
Possibly. Nothing's been signed yet, so...
Yeah. But that's part of the process that you've been learning this summer is...
Oh, yeah. Just the long logistical process that is involved inside of actually getting someone into the gallery, paying their fees, because there are unions for artists, and contracts and the whole shebang, not just the art that you see, but also all the behind-the-scenes stuff you see as well.
Right.
As far as saying names, though, nothing's been signed.
Yeah, no, don't expect any names, but this is just something you've sort of been involved in, so it's not even just the 3 shows or 4 shows this summer, but stuff we might see.
Yeah, years down the road.
Yeah.
No, it's been wonderful just to even just observe that kind of stuff. It's been a wonderful experience.
So this is basically a second career for you.
Yeah.
Already. At 29.
29. This is my second, third, fourth, something.
Yeah. So just, talking to the viewers here, a lot of them are coming from Neepawa. Yeah. Talking to young people in Neepawa, what do you want to say to them?
Go for the opportunities. They exist. This is one of the biggest things I've tried to push during my position here, and as well as just going to university and talking to first years and going back home and talking to people. Is that there are opportunities inside of Manitoba, I swear to God. I think this is something that doesn't that's not always known to people, especially growing up in Neepawa myself. We have a wonderful arts community and wonderful people who supported me. But the fact that there are galleries, just like less than an hour away from Neepawa that you can go and you can see national shows that we bring in because we want the community to have this. But also, if you're an artist yourself and you produce an art, it's okay to reach out to your local galleries. You can reach out to Arts Forward in Neepawa. You can reach out to some of the small little shops they have in Manitoba. You can also go to Brandon and just email the curator, just asking basic questions. We're from this community and we want this community to be able to present itself. So there's no shame in just contacting the curator from the AGSM, introducing yourself in your email, saying this is some of my body of work. I was wondering if there's a possibility for a show or even what the process would be. We want people to succeed in our community, so reach out. We're so happy when people actually ask us questions. We want to answer. We're a service.
Great. Thank you so much for sitting down with me and spending some time talking about this.
Well, thank you so much for coming down. It's nice to see you again.
Yeah, my pleasure, and I'll definitely be back.
Fantastic.